Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to see a number of you stayed behind for this part of the afternoon. As Paul said, when he pitched this idea of being the sponsor for NordDevCon this year, he said that clearly this is the only presentation of the day that can be of a sales orientation. But clearly, we're accountants. So the first thing I thought is that do people really want to listen to an accountant trying to sell something? Because it's not going to be the most enlightening topic. And secondly, I thought it was a bit of a cop-out because we're in a situation where we've adopted technology and the technology that we've adopted has enabled us to grow quite significantly as a business. So actually I thought with the audience we've got here today that there's quite a lot of value in us actually talking about how we've used technology to give us a competitive advantage in what's a fairly competitive marketplace. Hence the topic today, embracing technology for competitive advantage. So I hope that everybody's enjoyed the passion of the presenters. What I hope to do is share some of the passion that we have for what we do and the way we enable our clients to work fairly differently. So firstly, I thought it would be useful just to say who I am. As Paul said, my name is Will Farnell and I'm the director of Farnell Clarke. Prior to setting up my business in 2007, I worked for PwC as a consultant, doing efficiency and process improvement work. I've done some part-time lecturing and I speak fairly regularly around corporate strategy and corporate governance. So as a business, we're certainly one of the fastest growing accountancy firms in the region. We've achieved about 40% year-on-year growth for the last 4 years or so. So we're quite proud of that. Certainly anybody that is local will know of the EDP, and every year the EDP run a thing called the Future 50, which is about recognising businesses that are growing and doing something different and taking some risk. And we were included in the Future 50 for 2012 and 2013. So again, something we're really proud of. We also get asked, because of what we've done and the growth we've delivered, by our software partners to kind of engage with their other clients about what we've done and what it is that makes us different. So we get involved in some thought leadership stuff around cloud technology within the accountancy profession. And it's a profession that clearly people think about accountants, and there's lots of stereotypes about accountants, and they're not particularly reactive to change. Yet we're getting into a situation where they don't have a lot of choice, and I'm going to touch on that as we go through. Those of you that were at the pre-conference event yesterday would have heard Alan talking about everyone is a software company. Now I think Alan's gone, but I had written these slides before he said this last night, and it's something that we've been talking about for the last 12 months certainly, in terms of recognising that yes, we're accountants, but actually we're more than that. We use software to transform the way that we deal with our clients. So software is a central part of what we do. And we think about accountants and surely they're all the same. They all do accounts and they do tax returns and do all this stuff that most people don't want to do. But we challenge that and say that, yes, we are different. And certainly that's one of the things we're keen to share with our clients. So we were one of the first accountancy firms in the UK to adopt cloud accounting back in 2008-9. We're going to talk a bit more about the general view within the industry at the moment, because I'm going to talk about our industry because it's what we know, but actually a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about here are common across every industry. Every industry has got to think about what it is they deliver and how they do it, and technology is a key enabler in that. So we started looking at cloud accounting software back in 2008. We first started using it in early 2009. Now for some of you guys, you know that cloud's been around much longer than that, but I've already said the accountancy profession is pretty slow when it comes to doing things differently. We've also done things like adopt client portal technology, which enables us to share documents securely with our clients. And we've been using hosted desktops, so cloud-based desktop solutions, for about 3.5 years now. So the main thrust, really, of what I'm talking about today is this thing called competitive advantage. And what is it? Well, quite simply, it means doing things better than your competitors in the marketplace. It's about strategy, and it's about doing things differently. And my challenge to people is if we as accountants can do things different, then everyone can. Because really what we do is pretty standard. The numbers can only equal one thing in most cases. So let's think about strategy. We've got a room full of tech people here, so I'm sure you all know of this company called IBM. And if we go back to the 1970s, IBM was one of the world's most successful companies. Roll forward a decade, and in the 1980s, they recorded the biggest loss in corporate history. So how does a company go from being the biggest company in the world to recording the biggest loss in corporate history? So where did it go wrong? And it's about strategy. And IBM must have been in this situation where they thought that they were too big for change to affect them. So whatever they did as an organisation, they were IBM. It didn't matter. And there's plenty of other examples of companies that have lost track of what's going on within the external environment, the world that they operate in. So strategy is a three-step process. It's about a strategic analysis. So where are we now? What is it we're doing? It's about understanding where you want to go. And it's about thinking, well, how do we get from where we are now to where we want to go? It's about a thing called strategic choice. And then the third stage is once you've made the decisions about what you want to do, how do we deliver it? So our focus here is on step 2, and it's about the choice part of that process. So the choice we made back in 2007 when I set up this business was that we wanted to do things different. So we chose a thing called differentiation. So what's differentiation? Quite simply, it's being different to anybody else. So clearly when you make a decision that you're going to do something different, it's no good it being negative, it's got to be a positive difference. So a guy called Michael Porter said that businesses have two choices. They either are the cheapest, or they do things differently. Now, if we think about that, only one person can ever be the cheapest. So that means everybody else has got to do something different. Now, there's a number of ways you can do things differently. We decided that the thing that we were going to focus on most was technology. So we were going to look for ways to use and embrace technology to differentiate what we did. So, now, I'm hoping that I'm the only person that's managed to get a picture of sheep in their presentation today, but it summarises what we're trying to say. So this slide says, you laugh at me because I'm different, I laugh at you because you're all the same. So for us, it's, yes, we were different, we were doing things that were quite bold a number of years ago, and we took risks that other people weren't prepared to take. We are still in a very competitive marketplace where lots of people look the same. We're quite proud of what we've done and what we've done that makes us different. So I mentioned Michael Porter. This is Michael Porter's model. Anybody in consultancy, all you need to do to be a consultant is learn some 2x2 matrix and you're fine. So Michael Porter said businesses have these two choices. You're either the cheapest or you're different, and if you do, if you stick in the middle, you're stuck in the middle, then you're bound to failure. I don't quite know whether I agree with that entirely, but certainly we have to accept that only one person can be the cheapest, so everybody else has got to do something different to justify the price premium. So if they're charging more than somebody else, what's the justification for that? So differentiation was the way that we chose to move forward. So how did we do it? What's our journey with tech? So as I say, the business started in 2007. And kind of middle of 2008, we were aware that there was this thing called cloud technology, and that I looked at it and thought, well, we have an opportunity here to have access to our clients' data all the time. Because accountants, typically, it was always seen as a once-a-year service. You'd get to the end of the year, you'd chuck all your receipts in a box, you'd hand it over to your accountant, they'd do whatever the magic is that they do and give you a bit of paper that says this is how much tax you've got to pay. And actually, that's what most people are interested in. I think that what we do can be very easily commoditised because so many people just see it as, well, we've got to do the statutory stuff, we've got to know how much tax we've got to pay, but we want to make sure that we're not paying any more than we should. So we looked at it and said, well, if we can look at what our clients are doing all year, we get to spot the things that are happening during the course of the year. We can give them the proactive advice they needed. And there were a few players in the market that were beginning to do this stuff. And we spent about 8 or 9 months looking around, and we kind of gave up because there was stuff out there, but it just didn't work. It wasn't particularly user-friendly. It was a bit cumbersome. And what suppliers were doing was trying to take a desktop product and just stick it on the cloud. And that doesn't work. Sage, one of the largest account software companies in the world, have tried on 2 occasions to make cloud accounting work, and they've tried to do it by replicating their desktop products. And the general view within the cloud accounting market is the only way you can do it is redesign it from the bottom up, blank sheet of paper, and design it for the cloud rather than try and transform a desktop product. So we gave up, and we started looking again back in early 2009, and I got into a Twitter conversation with a guy called Dwayne Jackson, who had set up a company called Cashflow Software back in 2006. And funnily enough, I'd actually looked at that product in 2008. But they'd got this website, and it was pink and blue. And it just put me off. I couldn't get past the front page and thought, there's no way that's going to work for our clients. But I got into this Twitter conversation in early 2009, and they convinced me to have a look at the product. And actually, it did exactly what we wanted it to do. It was user-friendly, it didn't use accounting jargon, so it was nice and easy for clients to use without having to understand all this stuff about journals and everything else that they rely on the accountants to do. So we started working with Cashflow in February 2009. Within 6 months, we were their largest partner firm. Today, Cashflow was acquired by a company called Iris Software in October 2013. We're still their largest UK partner firm. Our more recent firm we've partnered up with is a company called Receipt Bank, and Receipt Bank is a receipt processing system. So what it does, it enables our clients to take photographs of their receipts. It uses screen scrape technology, so it pulls the main information from the receipt, picks out the supplier, the VAT codes, it picks out the last 4 digits of the credit card number, so it links to the right bank account in the account software. So it's seamless integration. And it enables us to effectively cut out parts of the process that many of our competitors are still charging premium prices for, because it's data entry. One of the things that is very important to us is, in our methodology, is trying to identify things that we don't have to charge clients for. So many accountants take the view that actually what I want to do is find something else that I can sell to my client. Whereas we've kind of turned that on its head and said, what is it that we can do with technology that means we have to charge our clients less? Because we give them 2 choices in that respect. We can say, we can charge you less for the same as you're getting somewhere else, or actually we can start to focus on the things that really matter. So beginning to give you information to understand where you're going as a business, looking for other things that we might be able to support with, the value stuff, the stuff that's really important to people, and use technology wherever we can to automate the routine stuff. So we started partnering with Receipt Bank in 2012. Within about 6 months, we were their 2nd largest UK partner firm. We're currently their 3rd largest global partner. And they're making big moves in Australasia and States at the moment. So again, we're really proud of this and the way that we've adopted this technology and facilitated how we use that with our clients to improve what they do. So what was our USP? So our role as an innovator in our market has enabled us to deliver this fairly significant growth on an ongoing basis. I kind of thought at the beginning that it's great, we're doing 40% year-on-year growth. At some point it's going to slow down. It's just because we're doing something a bit different, but it's continued. And part of that is that we're constantly looking for something new. One of the things that I regularly say to people when we talk to our our colleagues in the accountancy profession, is be prepared to take a risk on technology. Don't be afraid to be an early adopter, because that's what gives you the competitive advantage. So it was that application of technology years ahead of our competitors that's enabled us to achieve this level of growth. So unlike most people, we were actually prepared to do it. We were prepared to take that risk on something new. So we've used technology in a number of ways. Firstly, it drives efficiency for us as a business, which in turn means that we can charge our clients less, but actually it's about enabling our clients to generate efficiencies in what they do. So many times we talk to clients and we want to enable them to focus on the core stuff, the stuff that matters in their business. If you spend 3 hours a week doing accounts and everything else, that's 3 hours that you're not charging your client for your time. So there's a real opportunity cost there. So in doing that, we hope that we've made our clients' lives easier in the process. So what does the accountancy market look like now? So one of the key players in the cloud accounting market at the moment is a company from New Zealand called Xero. Xero said 2014 was the year of cloud accounting. So it was the year it was going to become mainstream. As with most industries, the software companies are keen to kind of big up the market and talk about it. But everyone was saying, 2014. We're now in 2015. And it's still only touching the surface. So there are about 30,000 accountancy practitioners in the UK, working as sole traders, limited companies, large organisations, whatever it is. So 30,000 potential facilitators, because clearly there's an end-user market and there's an accountancy market. The software companies are keen to attack both, because what we've seen is that it's the end client, it's the users that have driven the change in a lot of accountancy practices. But there's 30,000 accountancy practices. One of our key add-ons, which works cross-platform, so that means it works with Cashflow, it works with Xero, it works with QuickBooks Online, currently has 800 active partners. So what that means is that's about 3% of the UK market. It's not quite 2014 being a year of cloud accounting, is it, if we've only got 3% market penetration within that particular area. And it's the best indicator because it's not products in isolation. It's looking at something that will work cross-platform. So, and it's stuff that really should be at the forefront of this kind of add-on stuff. So what this means is we're only really entering the early adopter stage of the market. So many of you will know this, product adoption curve. This early adopters bit for any industry, if you get into something early, that's your opportunity for profit. That's where the opportunity is to generate the profit opportunity. And in that early adopter stage, we've got a number of the products we're talking about here, Cashflow, Xero and Receipt Bank and so on. Over this side, in the laggards, we've got Microsoft Excel and everything else beginning to kind of phase off because the cloud stuff that's going on is where the opportunity is to do things. So if we say that it's 3% at the moment, that's only just kind of getting through that first innovator stage at kind of 2.5%. So we're really well placed for it, and the industry and the market has a long way to go. There's still massive opportunity for the likes of us and our competitors, but again, it's convincing people to make that change. The way we see this is that the cloud technology is beginning to develop almost a business ecosystem. So if we go back and we think about desktop account software, so if anybody here uses Sage, it does the accounts. It does your VAT returns, and you can give it to the accountants and they can prepare the accounts, but that's about it. And what we're seeing with cloud technology is the ability to use API and begin to build a system around the account software. So what we see is that the accounts bit that sits in the middle is a hub, and it's an enabler to enable our clients to do different things with it. So it becomes more than just an account system. So We can bolt on things like receipt processing that takes out some of that manual processing. We can give smaller businesses the opportunity to take credit cards, do direct debits. So many times we talk to people and they're in a market where they're doing lots of recurring billing, fixed prices, and we say, have you considered direct debit? I know it's way too expensive to get it set up, the ongoing fees. We can bolt on a piece of add-on software that enables the whole invoicing bit to be automated. So the software sends out an automatic invoice, the direct debit is collected, it marks the invoice paid in the software, and guess what? The software company charges 1% or a maximum of £2 per transaction. So that instantly makes direct debit available to any small business. Same with credit cards. If you want to take credit cards, if you've got to get a PDQ machine, you've got to rent it. Integrating things like Stripe means that we can send out an invoice to somebody with a Pay Now button on it, click the Pay Now, take the credit card details, marks it paid in the software. So we're beginning to build a system, and you guys understand APIs. You can bolt on whatever you want. You can begin to get these systems talking to each other. So the role that we have as accountants is significantly changing as we have technology that enables us to do all of this stuff, bolt on forecasting tools, reporting, and doing all of the things that actually can have a massive impact in transforming the way that our clients do business. So to kind of summarise and pull this all together, most of our competitors, I believe, have about 18 to 24 months to make this move into new ways of working by utilising technology that is in the marketplace right now. And if they don't do it, their clients are going to drive it. So the client is either going to say, I want to be able to work with you and use this cloud software. I'm sure some of you may already have had the experience, certainly some of the conversations we've had today, where you're using this kind of technology and your accountants don't get it. So actually at some point you're going to say, well, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else to somebody that understands it and has adapted their business model. Because what we're seeing is many of our competitors are beginning to try and bolt this stuff onto their existing business model. So they're saying, we used to sell you Sage, we're now going to sell you Xero. But we're not going to change anything underneath it. We're just going to give you a new software package and continue to service you the way we've always done. So they miss the opportunity to generate these efficiencies and pass that on to you, the client. So I firmly believe that our marketplace will be unrecognisable in 5 years. And many of our competitors will have gone out of business if they're not prepared to make this move. And it's not just this industry. We're moving to a process of self-service. If you think about lots of the things that we do a lot of it ourselves now, don't we? If you go back to, the late 80s or whatever, and you wanted to go on holiday, you'd go into a travel agent and you'd book your holiday, and they'd do it all for you, wouldn't they? They'd book the hotel, they'd book the airline, they'd get your ticket, you'd get your ticket handed to you, they'd book you a seat. Whereas if you book a holiday now, you go onto all of the price comparison sites, you go on to Ryanair, you have to print your own ticket, you have to get there and pick your own seat. So we're in an environment where everything is self-service. Now, if we don't make that change, people can do this themselves as well. There's software out there that will let you do your own tax return. Okay, there's an argument to say you're getting the best kind of, are you paying more tax than you need to and so on. But if we don't facilitate this idea of self-service and come up with a different proposition, then we're not going to have a business either. So what we need to do is find software that enables us to do that. And you, the tech community, are key to delivering the necessary change over the next 5 to 10 years. You're doing it already because we're talking about software packages that have transformed our business model and will continue to do so. The business world is becoming just one big group of software companies. And going back to Alan's comment yesterday, every business is a software business. Software is at the heart of everything that we do. Alan's example last night, for those that weren't there, was his choice of coffee shop around who has the best Wi-Fi. So even those coffee shops are software businesses. So everything that we do, every interaction we have with a business has a software element to it. And we're getting to the point where businesses need to wake up to that reality and change their business models, think about their business models, and make decisions to improve the way that they deliver their services to their clients. So, thank you all very much for staying around and listening to the only real non-tech presentation of the afternoon. The challenge for us is that we're the only ones that are here not because of our technical ability or what we can bring. Hopefully it was better than listening to an accountant try and sell you tax return services for half an hour. But certainly myself and my team are around, so if anything we have said here kind of sparks a bit of interest or intrigue, we'd obviously be delighted to chat with you and talk a bit more about what we're doing and what we believe our competitors and businesses in every industry need to start thinking about. So enjoy the last half hour. Those of you that are coming to the conference dinner this evening, enjoy that as well. We hope you've had a great afternoon, and we look forward to talking to you all later. Thanks very much.